And you could just pick one at random.
Okay. I'll do
Yeah,
three
they're
of
all
them.
bad.
We'll probably only look at like one or two.
And so games 1, 2, and 4 had both Padme in it. I sat out for game 3.
Okay.
If that sways your decision at all.
Yeah, probably. Wait, did I start the recording? I did. Okay. All right. So do you guys typically cheat all the time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good. That's fine. Yeah. So this is actually nothing that you guys did wrong. I just want to kind of like reinforce good habits. This is pretty much the ideal position you want to be in when contact is made on the ball. So if you're not doing this as Pat is, I'd recommend start this.
Okay.
Because what happens is if you're too close to the ball, you can very easily poke out on each side, and you're basically useless at that point. Given that ample amount of space, you're able to actually be able to get to the balls if it pops to the outside, or if it pops up, you can then go for an aerial. Assuming it doesn't go like all the way to the ceiling, then that's going to be tough. And then at that point, you want that third man to come in and take that.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So already, this is going to be something that I teach at almost every rink, and it applies to speed. Speed is very, very important in threes. I'd say it's the most important thing for just about any rink starting at like plat. So this is a good time to start thinking about that. So we see Maniac. We takes the kickoff. One tip is you want to try and leave a little bit of boost on kickoff. It can be a little bit difficult at first, but if you kind of focus in on it, you could definitely get a lot better at it. What that does is that allows you to very quickly get over to the 100 boost. So we see here, he's basically at slow speed going for that boost. And actually, I forgot to do my little thing that I always start off with. So, a little bit of terminology is the 3 speeds of Rocket League. So, this is what's considered slow speed. Is from stop to top speed without boosting. This is what's considered your slow speed.
Okay.
Then there's supersonic, which of course is, you get the trails, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the speed that's in between it, get out supersonic, is what's considered a boost speed. So you want to get to the point where you're avoiding the speed as much as possible. So what happened on the kickoff is he landed about here or so. At this point, I'm not going to go back to the replay just to see like if he didn't turn off ball cam, but I'm assuming he didn't. So he makes a drive over here to get that boost. Right, but that's very slow. You want to be getting back into the play as quick as possible. So to do that, what you're going to do is turn off your ball cam,
Mhm.
and immediately you don't want to make a beeline to the 100 boost. Instead, what you're going to want to be doing is hitting your first 12 and then flipping immediately after that. That was actually a pretty
Okay.
bad one, but so my point here is hit that 12, use all of it, and flip into the 100 boost. And then a step further, you guys know how to wave dash?
Yeah.
Okay.
I say yes, but I'm working on. I'm still working on incorporating it into play.
Yeah, I definitely don't expect it to be clean yet. However, it's something you want to be trying to accomplish more and more. So,
Mhm.
in this situation, you know, you're going to have forward momentum going up to the wall. So, that's a perfect time to get that wave dash.
Mhm.
Um,
Mine are not that good.
yeah.
Oh.
Um, but even hitting this, going here, and not wave dashing is still a
Mhm.
lot faster than, basically going at your slow speed into that
Yep.
boost. So yeah, there's if I had to talk about certain scenarios
Mhm.
to maintain speed, we'd be here all day. So it's going to be something that you want to be figuring out as you go, just getting experience
Mhm.
in um, in the game. Um, while we're on the topic of small
Mhm.
pads are incredibly important because that's the small pads are how you get good speed. It's not the big pads. Sure, you want to be picking up big pads. Don't get me wrong, but
Mhm.
you absolutely have to incorporate small pads into your game. I don't have a Chrome open. Let's see. So this website, ballchasing.com, is a great resource. It breaks down this game into like lots of good analytical numbers and stuff.
Wow. That looks very nice.
Yeah. So this is the speed tab. This is good to look at. Your overall score is a good indication of like how fast you played in that game, and then it also breaks down your
Mhm.
supersonic speed, your boost speed, and your slow speed. I was particularly speedy in this game. My slow speed was only 30%.
Yeah. You're
Um,
killing it. Love it.
but but yeah, one thing to also look at is boost. So this is a this was a Grand Champ level game. However, it's early in the season, so this is actually if we get to where we were at last season in terms of rank, this would be considered almost a Supersonic Legend
Oh, wow.
level game. So we look at the boost. Where's the small pads? Small pads, yeah. So you see here, I picked up 70. Um, this guy I'm trying to work with a little bit. And Nick, who is also a very fast player, basically picked up 70 as well. And these two picked up 70 as well. You can make it up there as slower players. Like I assume these two players have. However, you have to be like cracked
Mhm.
out mechanically, basically. Which he is. And, it works for him, I guess. So, at this level, you'd expect us to be picking up about 70 small pads per game. Now, let's take a look at how much you guys picked up.
Oop.
I was looking at game 2, yeah. Oh, upload. Come on. Seriously? It usually doesn't take this long.
Ballchasing.com.
Yeah. Come on. Let's try it again. Christ.
There we go.
Oh, okay.
Oh boy.
Okay, so not as bad as I was expecting. Looks like Maniac's trying to incorporate it. Looks like Soba and Pad can get a little bit better at it. So yeah, that just gives you an idea of where you're at. So a very simple exercise is going to be flipping around in free play with unlimited boost turned off, and just get a feel for like where all these pads are. It's actually pretty simple once you recognize the pattern. There's, the straight down the middle one, which is 6 pads, so 6 times 12, that is 72. Then there is this oval shape, which I call the football because it's an egg. That is also 6. Actually, even more if you hit that point. Then there is a diamond in the middle of the field, just like a little square. And then there's also ones in the perimeter, not including the 100. There's 4 per side on the perimeter. So that's where you're going to find them. And then over time you can learn paths where you actually incorporate like both of them. One of my favorite is hitting this one right here. So you get 2 of the diamond, 1 of the football. And then at this point, you can either go for that 100, or if it's not there, and this is another thing that can really help your speed, is realizing it's not there and prepping where you land. See how I like land facing where I want to go? So yeah, you hit these 3 here, bam, your speed is maintained.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you'll
Not small pads at all.
yeah, you'll so yeah, if you just like really concentrate on it, you'll start hitting these lines subconsciously. You won't even be thinking about it. And that's ultimately how you get better at this game. You decide to focus in on something, and over time, that'll eventually become subconscious for you, and then you can start focusing on another thing. But I would definitely recommend speed being what you focus on now, because it's extremely important in threes. And then like rotating back, you never want to be doing like this, like not hitting anything. You always want to be hitting pads all the time. So rotating back, take the football, start adding flips too, diagonal flips preferably. They're faster than front flips. So it's basically just, that was that one. You pull your stick to the off center down, and then on your second flip you'll be off center up in the opposite direction. So work on diagonal flips as well. One last thing on the topic of speed, let's go ahead and take a look at your speed scores. Yeah, it's not too bad. I'd say that's not terrible for plat level players. However, if you can consistently get this up to 64, 65, that'll put you at a pretty big advantage. And then, of course, like bumping up supersonic, bumping up boost, and then bringing these numbers down too. In fact, I'd say bringing slow speed down is going to be more important than necessarily bringing supersonic up. But if you do that, these will go up just by association.
Mm.
All right, so haven't even made it 5 seconds in the replay.
Dude, killing it with the information. I love
Yeah,
it.
I'm telling
That's
you.
a nice website. Yeah, it's a really good website.
Yeah. But, I mean, just because speed is such a big topic, that's why I just bring it up right away.
Well, then what would you say would be the best way to just kind of incorporate it? Because I have heard people say, just mash down the boost button and never let go.
So that's not good either. The reason being is that, you don't start going any faster once you hit supersonic.
Yeah.
So if you're boosting while supersonic, you're wasting boost.
Yeah.
And you can actually, it tells you this here too. Let's see, where's it at? Amount used while supersonic. So it looks like Soba does a pretty good job of not using boost while supersonic.
Yeah.
But something to consider maybe for Maniac and Pad. One thing I tell teams to try is to play at a pace where you feel uncomfortable. You could do this in casual, ranked, if you don't really care much about losing. Or even tournaments are great too to do this. You basically want to push yourself to the point where you feel out of control and uncomfortable. So what that means is, like, in certain positions where you feel like you need to slow down, don't. Just take, like, a wider rotation. And what I mean by that is that in this game, your positioning should be reflected based on the amount of effective space that your team can take. So what I mean by that, I meant to tap the Epic Pen. There we go. So what I mean by that is, and I'm just using the field right now as like a coach would with what's it called? There's like marker boards that they use. Anyways, so hypothetical situation. Say the ball's here. What you want to avoid is having teammates be like this. So the effective space in this situation is basically about this. And because, like, you guys are so bunched up, you're probably going slow. So if anything pops out this way, you're going to have to use a whole bunch of boost to, like, go get it. And then also if the ball pops over here, then someone has to, like, take time to turn, go that way, and use boost, and it's just not very effective. So a better use of your effective space, say, again, in this situation, the ball's here. Say someone's coming in from here, right? Someone is keeping nice space back here, giving them space to operate, and if the ball pops out here, he's going to have good, like, run-up room to get speed and get a good hit. And then, you'll probably have someone, say, like, maybe over here. And, or actually, that's too close. Probably more like over here. Like, just picking up boost because, you're not needed in the play right now. So that's just like one example. So We'll go to one of my replays. Shit. There we go. For some reason, my escape key isn't working on my keyboard, so I have to use a
Oh.
key or a button on my mouse.
Uh,
Alright.
rip.
It's actually not too bad now. I've gotten used to it. So, just kind of take notice of, like, how far I put myself away from the play when I'm not on the ball. One little thing here. So in this situation, I know that it's can be awkward because my third man may be tempted to come in and take that ball. And if I rush this and my third man's also rushing this, I know that we have just given up effective space, and I now have to use resources, aka boost, to get into a better position. So notice how I very quickly... Oh, I missed it. Too far. Yeah, right there. Notice how I turn off my ball cam. Turning off ball cam is a great way to get information of what's going on in the field. Because you always want to be keeping tabs of where your teammates are as well as where your opponents are as well. That will allow you to make better informed positioning and decisions. So see how I very quickly check to see if my Nick's there. So you want to be recognizing times in which to, or in where it may end up being awkward for you guys. So getting that information will allow you to make better decisions. That was maybe not the best cut, but I didn't know where my teammate was, so I just decided to go for it. I believe this was our RSC game. Yeah, it was.
Oh shit, nice.
I had too much speed going into that.
Dude, I do that all the time. It's so bad.
So yeah, notice how I kept space away from it. You know, I'm not allowing myself to go into slow speed. And then like here, it's like, go ahead and just use all your boost because you're about to get 100, right?
Yeah, why not?
I was kind of expecting a pass there, whatever. So yeah, wave dash, hitting the football, kind of do a poor job of it. I see the 100 come up, so I just bail on the football, go get the 100. Like I said, don't not pick up hundreds.
Yeah.
But definitely be incorporating pads in a bit more. Yeah. So this hopefully should answer your question of like how to start incorporating speed. And the answer is just, you know, don't get too close to the ball when you're not needed. Always be making that like decision making of where you need to be. See, like there, I recognize that my teammate, he just changed his name. I still refer to him as Bunny. Bunny's there. I know he can make the challenge, so I don't immediately go up. I see what he does, and you know, I still have speed going into this hit. I don't make the best hit whatsoever, but that kind of shows you, like, again, how to maintain speed even when you are going into it as well. And then also just like, if you're not playing, watch some high-level Twitch streamers and just take notice of how they're positioning. Ask yourself why they're positioning like that, and then what they're doing to keep up their speed. And that will just eventually kind of permeate into your playstyle as well. All right. All right, so that was just an unfortunate whiff. I'll probably talk something about backboard reads here in a bit, as those are very important. All right, a couple kickoff goals. Yeah, so this actually isn't a bad cheat either. I do this quite a bit as well. I call this like the soft cheat. Just something I'm playing around with. That's an acceptable cheat as well. So this surprisingly may not be a problem for you guys, which it's a problem for like so many teams that I coach. You guys do a pretty good job of the front post, back post position. I noticed already, so that's good. Definitely very, very good. We'll see if there are situations in which you guys break that. Yeah, so one thing is like when you guys are in that mode, whatever, of wanting to go uncomfortably fast, which also like the first half of scrims is always a good time to do that. Obviously you want to win your RC games, so you want to eventually get back to a pace that you feel comfortable. However, this is basically like strength training in a way. You lift weights that you're uncomfortable with, and over time, the lower weights become much more manageable, and you're able to like constantly be bumping up like what weights you're comfortable with. Same thing applies with speed in this game. So here, like, I would, if you're in that mode, I would recommend Soa to like turn on this right now and go for that ball, even if you miss. The reason being is that it'll make blue team uncomfortable because then that's like one more factor that they have to think about, which raises the odds of them making a bad touch. When I talk about like applying defensive pressure, just overall pressure, it isn't necessarily, people think about it like in the offensive zone, by like not completely rotating out, and just like staying in their zone, peppering the net with tons of shots till the point where the team eventually breaks down, and that's good. That's definitely what you want to be doing on the offensive zone. But applying pressure can also be applied in the midfield, not, and I guess to a degree on the defensive end as well. But basically, you want to be forcing them to have to do something, because if you give them space, that gives them options, and through options, that gives them a better percentage of converting an opportunity.
All right.
So thinking of this game in a percentage wise, you always want to be raising the odds for yourself and decreasing the odds for them. And by just like aggressively challenging, you can help decrease those odds for them. Now, when I say aggressively challenging, you still have to be smart about it. Say the ball's here, the opposition's here, and you're like right here. Obviously, that's a bad challenge because you're never going to win that. Unless they're dribbling. If they're dribbling, then yeah, go ahead and push up and try to get a favorable 50-50. However, if it's going to be like a ball being dumped in or a shot, yeah, you don't necessarily want to be like challenging that because there's no way you're going to win. However, say you're more right here, and you're still probably going to lose that challenge. This is still a good challenge to go for, because then that means that they have to hit the ball above you. And assuming they get like a really good power shot, which, at this rank, maybe not so often, but, that's going to force them to put the ball up here rather than it being on target because you made that challenge. So, yeah, definitely try and get more aggressive in challenge making. You don't want to be doing stupid ones, especially if you're third man. If you're third man, then, yeah. Then, as third man, it's better to just give up possession than to go in on a bad challenge, and then they just have like an empty net breakaway opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay. One little mechanical thing here. Yeah. So you can see here how you hit the ball with like a parallel car. Right.
Yup.
Yeah. You want to. Yeah. Well, actually, you did hit the ball where you want to hit it typically. However, if you had your car angle at more of a 45, that's going to get more power for you. All right, we're at about 410. Let's go to training. I have to ask, when you guys train, do you train flip resets, breezy flicks, shit like that?
I do that to mess around, but I also do like like power shots and like redirects. No, not like redirects, but like shots off the backboard and shit like that, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, at this point, I'm just trying to incorporate like dribbling and
like
air rolls and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not like double taps, just trying to hit the ball in the air.
Yeah. All right, good. So, yeah, like fancy mechanics like that, I always say you should treat like dessert. You can't make that your entire diet. There's no problem training them, but if that's all you're training, then, it's bad. So one fancy mechanic, though, that I do recommend starting now is double tap training. Because
I love that. Double taps.
It translates into so many other scenarios in this game that working on them actually benefits you in more ways than just double taps. So, first off, it allows you to work on your fast arrow, which is good. But then this initial hit right here is probably the most beneficial thing about working on double taps. So you see how my car is like at that 45?
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not, you're not ever going to be able to get a good double tap. So in that situation, that would have helped you out because you'd be at that 45 and then you'd be able to like potentially follow the ball, depending on how much boost you had. Which from there, if you are following the ball, you can then perhaps like get a 50-50 in on the defender, or you can continue moving upfield with the ball. So yeah, double tap training is great because it helps you like find that sweet spot of the ball really well as like forcing yourself to hit it at a car angle that allows you to follow up on it, as well as like get more power.
Mm-hmm. I swear I practice this like exact shot is in one of the training packs I do.
Yeah, and then also is really good for car control as well.
Mm-hmm.
And also, if you're not, recommend putting a little bit of air roll right before the shot. I keep hitting that fucking crossbar. Right before the shot, that will allow for like a lot more.
Keeps your momentum going.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I do most of the time, but I'm not sure. At least when I go up for the higher shots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I gotta say your defensive rotations look pretty good so far. Many people, even in my rank, are in Soba's position here. Is going to be tempted to like try and do something here, but you realize that Maniac has a much better opportunity at the ball, so that's good. So far, you guys are showing better defensive rotation than my team. And we're in second place in Masters, so...
Huh. I don't know whether to be flattered or depressed by that.
Well, I mean, that just shows that, like, every team and every player is going to have strengths and weaknesses. Yeah, I got a couple ball chasers on my team, but I can work with that. I don't mind ball chasers. I'd actually much rather have ball chasers than passive players, because I can fill that role effectively. And I can just like feed them the ball all day. I'm a passer, so that just synergizes with my playstyle pretty well. All right. Yeah, so in this situation, probably, and I'm trying to like figure out a way to where you can avoid just being stopped in the midfield like that. That is like something you really want to avoid. So what I would recommend probably doing here is that, so you always want to be evaluating how much time you're needed until you actually need to like make a play. So by keeping tabs of where your teammates are, right? So you got Pad here, Maniac here. You can actually make a wider rotation in this situation, and this is what I kind of mean by like keeping a nice distance away from the play. So instead of like, I believe you make this route right here, which only allows you to pick up like 12 boosts because I think you missed this one. At this time, I would recommend like trying to come out wide and hit this little kind of fishhook looking path. That's going to allow you to get 48. And then when you get here, that'll be up to 60. You'll probably spin a little bit to maintain speed, but that's fine. By making that path, by the time you're needed, the play will develop to the point where you don't need to come to a stop. So this is just one instance of avoiding that like stopping the midfield. That's definitely something you want to try to avoid at all costs, because should that ball get above you, it's going to be very difficult to make a stop on it, especially if it's on target. So, moving forward, when you guys do some replays, if you ever find yourself in a position where you're just stopped, obviously if you're covering front or back post, that's going to happen. But especially like in the midfield or like from here to here, if you find yourself in in that situation, just try and go back and think through what you could have done, positionally wise, to avoid that. So when you do that, always evaluate how much time did I have until I was actually needed, and then how could have I effectively rotated wider while grabbing more boost or resources, basically. Yeah, so a good fast area will definitely help you out here. Notice how you weren't vertical going into the second jump, and that just kind of like
messed me all up.
Yeah, puts you into a position to where now you have to like be adjusting throughout the entire flight path. My saying is that adjustment is the killer to power and accuracy when it comes to aerials. If you can eventually get it to the point where you're basically like just flying into the ball, no adjustment, by the time you actually have to make contact with it, that's when you are going to be the most powerful and accurate. And that all starts with a jump. Obviously, you can't be like 90% vertical. You're going to just go to the ceiling, right? But over time, you'll know at what angle you need to launch at, and then how you need to take that flight path. And that just comes from doing it over and over again. But once you get that initial jump mechanic down, it makes it a whole lot easier for yourself. All right. It's actually a good half flip for y'all's rank by Maniac. Yeah, so again, like, your defensive rotations look very good. It quite astounds me. Which makes me think someone needs to become the ball chaser of the team. If y'all's defensive positioning is that good, that must mean you guys are not generating offense like you need to.
So this,
I think
it's funny.
That's a very true thing.
And it's kind of funny that you bring that up, because in this game we only score one goal, but we had at least 9 shots registered as on goal.
Yeah.
The crossbar saved a lot of points, because I think let me look at the stats. They didn't have.
I'll be right back, guys.
Sure.
They didn't have a stellar amount of saves.
Mhm.
Wait, I'm currently in Discord. It's just funny to hear you say that because for the most part, I think the stance that both Maniac and I have is when Pad has the ball, we let him do what he wants because
Okay.
he's definitely the like Maniac's pretty. He's the best shooter on the team, like hands down, he's the best shooter on the team. But Pad, like as far as what I see on a daily basis playing games, Pad basically works magic.
Right.
Uh, Yeah, so we had 9 shots on goal. They had 5 saves. So that was, I guess that was 4 that just kind of bounced off the crossbar.
Yeah.
Uh,
And so players like Pad, um, you know, they can have days where they're not making that kind of magic too. So it's important to have like a couple different playstyles in mind. So like Pad's popping off, yeah, just feed him the ball, right? Um, but if it's not, then you guys may need to take a more
mhm.
organized approach to the game uh, by like having tight positionings, just trying to suffocate the other team through pressure, and that's a more consistent play style because that's something that you can just fall back on and still win games, even if you're not like popping off. Um, in a way, that's kind of where I come in, right? It's I'll try and work with you guys to like build up that consistency,
Mhm.
um, because ultimately, like in this game, you want to have a very consistent playstyle.
Yeah.
Um, that is what helps, at least with my team, because like I said, I have very mechanically gifted players that I play
Yeah.
with. Um, and when they're feeling things, I know that I can just put the ball in the air in their direction, and they're going to do something with it. However, if that's not going on, I have a very consistent, almost flowchart way of playing this game. So, like, okay, I'm in this scenario, right?
Mhm.
And I know that there are, say, 2 or 3 things that can happen. And based off of all the time that I put in this game, I know which one's going to be most likely. So I just position myself for that. However, I already know, um, like, the alternatives and how to deal with that. So that's eventually what you guys want to get to, both as a team and as an individual, is just thinking of this game as like a flowchart. Those guys have been dying to play with me today.
I love it.
But yeah, so that is like how to kind of think about improvement on this game. And then also, it looks, again, this is just one game, but could kickoffs be an issue for you guys? Because it looks like they're about to get another kickoff goal. And then, of course, the first goal you guys gave up was also a kickoff goal. Does this seem to
Um,
happen quite often?
it seemed to happen often in the games yesterday, but normally I don't think kickoffs are too much of a problem for us. I don't believe they are, at least.
Okay. We'll still take a look at what happens next, but let's take a look at this as well. Yeah. Okay, so first off, they got to pass you, because, um, yeah. So here it was just a bit of a poor decision from Pad to turn on that. The reason being is that in that situation there, or you should know
Mm-hmm.
that in that situation there's no way for you to get a good touch because of like how your car is orientated,
Mm-hmm.
how much speed you have. So the better decision would have been to just take the rotation out, hitting here, and then that's a common rotation I do, is hit that pad, hit this pad, and then depending on what's going on, I'll go into the straight line, or I'll break off from the football. And what that'll do is, like, from here, when you were here, and you made there, from here, you know, if you're keeping tabs of where all your teammates are, you will know that Maniac's back here, and he will have a more advantageous opportunity at making a successful challenge. So that is how fluid rotations start happening, is by keeping tabs of where your teammates are. So in addition to speed, I think that's something you need to be actively thinking about. That goes for all you guys. To be actively thinking about is, like, where everybody is on the field at all times. And one exercise that helps these types of things, I actually picked this up from an Overwatch coach. That game just has, like, some of the best coaching, like, in any game that I've seen, just because of, like, how complex, like, the character interactions are, and then also the mechanics as well. But yeah, I picked up a lot of, like, stuff that I can translate over into Rocket League. Anyways, what this one coach had these guys doing is, as they were playing, he forced them to talk out loud everything that they were thinking and why they were doing things. Now, Rocket League is a little bit too fast-paced to do that. I just don't think your mouth can move that fast. But a lot of us play without that mental chatter going on, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Where, like, you're thinking in words rather than in what you see. Make sense? Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, obviously, like, when you... Actually, I would say at all times, just, like, have that active chatter going on in your head. And that chatter is going to be mostly about where other people are on the field, not necessarily where the ball is. I remember watching a Justin stream, and he said that he rarely even watches the ball. Probably one of the biggest ball chasers in the world, and he doesn't watch the ball. And that's just why he's so good. Obviously, he has great mechanics as well, but
Yeah, that help.
yeah.
I guess.
But yeah, that just goes to show that, like, to build awareness in this game, it ultimately comes down to knowing where the other people are on the field. And when you incorporate that, you will know who has the better chance of doing something better than you. And if they do, you allow them to do it. That's basically what I'm trying to say. So yeah, that decision eventually led to them getting the ball past you guys.
Yep.
And I mean, and then also, like, Maniac did come to a stop. Again, want to try and avoid those. Soba does a nice job getting back down as fast as he can. He's flipping. He's going down the line. That's good. Let's see. Let's see from his perspective if there is anything he could have done at this point. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
not
it-
miss the fucking ball.
Okay, so that. But then also, like, you should be going up the wall here instead of jumping. Reason being is that at this point, you see that it's flush with the wall, right? It's not jumping out. You can just drive up the wall, and you don't even have to jump into it, and you'll hit that. So, but if you do decide to jump, you gotta try and eliminate that hesitation right there. So like, as you guys are also trying to improve, also be eliminating those like hesitations going into your aerial, because that eliminates like all chance of like getting any sort of power, and over time you'll actually become a lot more accurate at them. Okay, so here's a kickoff goal. Okay. So it does get into a bit of a awkward spot because I would say neither Pad nor Soba are in the wrong of being there, going for the challenge. But then I think you guys respect each other too much, and neither of
Believe me,
you
that
make a challenge.
that's not the case.
All right, so that's good. Here, someone needs to make the communication that they are going to go for that. I don't know if you guys did or not, but someone does. I would say the person that needs to go for that is Soba. The reason being is that the challenge that he makes is a better chance of getting that ball into their zone with more power. Whereas Pads, you're just basically looking to kill the ball, which either option's fine, but I think Soba will have a little bit of a better chance at it.
Yeah.
So, in that situation, who's ever coming up, basically, this is good. This is, again, going back to the scenario from last goal, to where Maniac had the better chance to make the play, but Pad took it, so then it resulted in a loss of possession. Whereas here, unfortunately, nobody makes a touch. But here, knowing... So, okay. Pad, when you're about here, I would recommend turning up ball cam to try and see where Soba is. Because if he went that way, then yeah, you need to make that challenge. However, because he went this way, he's in a better spot to get that ball out over here. Whereas you just be like killing it, which is fine, but the better play is going to be from Soba.
Yeah, Soba hitting it. Yeah. Okay.
So here, go ahead and take off that ball cam, because again, that's like, if you remember back when I was showing you my replay where I was looking for Nick in that split second, this is going to be a situation, and it's very common actually. So by gathering more information, by putting your POV more back like over here, you're going to know that he's there, and he then can like make a cleaner challenge on that. And then should he miss a challenge, you'd be back over here backing him up as well. All right. I'm actually going to end the analysis there. I think that gives you guys enough to think about, because if I overload you guys, it's a lot less likely for it to stick.
Yeah. All right. I get you.
Those two main things, if you focus on, will put you guys above the level of play that you guys play at, and you'll start winning more games by just kind of recapping bumping up your speed, figuring out ways to avoid the slow speed, and then of course being stopped altogether.
That ball chaser thing is nice. I'm gonna have to go start that.
Yeah, it's definitely fun to play around with. If you guys have Bacchus mod, which if you don't, I highly recommend you get it.
Dude, mine keeps crashing my game whenever I go into comp threes. It's pissing me off, so I always don't have it on.
Oh, that sucks. I actually
Yeah.
didn't have it on. Hold on, I gotta restart now.
What was you mentioned a drill we could run to oh hell to gather more information on the field quickly.
Oh yeah, that was the mental chatter part.
Mental chatter.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So like another thing to kind of think about is so we'll just take a look at one of mine. We'll just do ranked because ranked I typically do a little better in because there's not those nerves.
Mhm.
Fucking bunny missing that. God damn. This was a clip if you just hit that.
Ooh,
Alright.
I've been nutty.
Trying to find a good situation to point out what I'm talking about. Alright, so this isn't too bad. So being aware of where everything is. So I see Bunny rotating out to the left. So in this hit, I know that he's still mid-rotation. He's not going to be in a position to go for that. So I just continue kind of moving up. Nah, that wasn't the best example. Okay, so like here, I still know that he's on the right side of the field based of like where I saw him. So I know that he's going to beat me to that front post position. See how I'm even looking for him. I know that he has a chance to get to that ball much better than I do. So I just take the back post rotation. Instead of going front post myself, that kills all my speed and that kills all of his speed.
Okay.
So by taking that, I know that I'm able to maintain the speed and still the proper positioning. This is not our teammate. This is just a random guy we were duo queuing, which we almost never do. And I recommend not ever doing.
Garbage. I
We're
hate
gonna need
it.
to start taking blood pressure medicine because of fucking solo queuing.
Yeah, I'd actually much rather solo queue than duo queue.
Why is that?
Because you two have chemistry, and
Yeah, the other person
bring
gonna
it in
mess it
third.
all up.
yeah, and
Makes sense.
yeah. Whereas like there's a certain way to play solo queue, so you can just fall into that play style. All right. So yeah, that's basically like what you do to keep tabs on people, just knowing where they're at all times, and then basing your position and decision making on how you can A, maintain the most speed, and then B, allow whoever has the better opportunity to make a good play, make it. So if that's not you, then obviously just backing off. I marked this for some reason. Let's see what I do here. That was just a pass. So yeah.
Nice. Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
And then I wanted to give you guys a little bit mechanical advice too. So one very easy thing to increase speed is work on your turning. It sounds very basic, but a lot of people have a very poor turn. They tend to be like over power slidey. Like this is not what you want to do. It wastes a lot of boost and it's slow. So it's like completely counterintuitive to like try and do that. So the exercise is going to be going in a rectangle. You pick up supersonic, and then you just tap the handbrake. So you initiate the turn, tap, and then come out of it. you'll know that you'll get a right one or a correct turn when you're able to make like a really good 90-degree turn like that, and you maintain your supersonic speed. That's your indication that you're doing it right. It's a
So
it's a very simple exercise, but it'll help you out immensely.
you're not tapping drift. You're tapping the actual brake.
Oh no, yeah, drift, yeah. Um, I'm at the point where I almost never hit the brakes. That's how you. That'll be like your indication of like you're getting better at
Yeah.
positioning and speed. Is when you like find yourself never braking. So yeah, and then if you do need to make more than just a 90-degree turn, say you need to go 180, it's better to do like 2 quick 90s like that.
Okay.
And just keep tapping all the way through. If you feel like you didn't quite do it right, then just keep tapping, just like you feather boost until you eventually come out like that.
You're blowing my fucking mind right now.
I know. Like,
Yeah. Honestly.
nobody thinks about turning. Right?
Seriously.
So yeah, that's a very simple thing you can do. Like, literally doing that drill for like a minute, 2 minutes a day is gonna help you out greatly. And then of course doing the fast aerial exercise, keep doing that. And then also you want to start getting comfortable on the wall, because that will set you apart from players in your rank. Specifically on defense. And there's one simple tip that will improve you immensely, both on defensive walls as well as offensive as well. Where is it? So on these, let's get a better one. Right, you want to get to the point where you could be hitting it into the corner like that, consistently, or also just like hitting it out as well. The simple trick to this is that you don't want to be jumping where the ball is, like this. And that was still actually a pretty okay one. But so if you jump where the ball is, you are more than likely to just hit it like straight down like that, or just like whiff entirely. Holy shit, that was nuts. I was trying to whiff, but I did that.
Insane.
God, I wish I could do that in game consistently.
Yeah, right.
I hit those every once in a while, but not consistently. So yeah, you want to be jumping more like halfway of where you are on the wall and where the ball is. The reason being is you see how like your car takes you up without you even boosting. You are essentially using your momentum to your advantage. Right. So that will help you out on defense quite a bit.
I'm gonna ask you to show the code for that if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, I'll share some codes for sure. And then also that'll translate to good offensive. Wait, is this all right? No. There we go. This pack was actually made by a RCGM like years ago. So you see here, it's like the same concept. You are using your upward momentum to put yourself in a better position to make a good hit. And then these are fairly challenging, even for myself. But yeah, that'll give you a good idea. Actually, one last mechanical thing is going to be how you shoot. This is a good pack for that. You want to be avoiding, I did it out of habit, not using air roll into these. So I'm not using air roll. Did I use it on that one?
Like a little bit.
Actually, no, I'm not using air roll, but I'm using like the right, the diagonal, or like a diagonal flip into it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you want to avoid not using air rolls into these. It's still possible. Obviously, I'm doing it, but I also have a very good shot. So it will help you out. It will increase the odds by, using a little bit of air roll right before that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you get it on the corner of the car.
Yeah, you want to be shooting with the corner as much as possible. Now, if you have like a wide open net, yeah, go ahead and just use the like front of your car, get the goal, right? But if there's opponents that you need to beat, or one that you know that you have to get power on or hit the right part of the net, yeah, using air roll will help out immensely. It will get you the power that you need to score goals. Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's any more mechanical things. Because, like, generally speaking, you guys might already be doing this. However, based on how I played when I was a plat, and then also, like, from what I've seen and just what I kind of assume, I believe Platinum is, like, what, top half? About the top 40 to 50% of players, rank-wise, or so?
I think so.
I think so. I want to say the most players like last season. I think Diamond might have had it,
Right.
but I'm not sure. And this season it's all messed up. But
Yeah, for sure.
I won't get into that.
If you ever want to check that, of course, there's the Tracker Network. It'll tell you like where you're at. I'll also give you guys this one. It's just like an overall pack that I really like. I endorse it to everybody. This shot is literally like one of the best shots you could ever work on. Because it tells you like where to find the sweet spot of the ball. And in this situation, so it's above the bar. So the sweet spot in this case is going to be slightly above the middle of it. So that you're able to like hit it down, right? But say you are just wanting to hit the ball as far as possible, you're not really intending to score or so, then hitting like the bottom half of it is the better way to go. Or if you're going for a double tap, then like that bottom half is where to hit it. And so that'll build up like pretty good control for you. It'll work on your double jump. You notice how I'm like air rolling slightly into the wall? That's a good habit to start now. This allows for like better accuracy into it. So you should be like matching the angle that is coming in on, and you should be doing the like inverted angle of your car is the best way to think about that. And this next one, it seems like the same, but it's a little bit softer, so you have to like wait for it to come down. This is also like perfectly acceptable time to freestyle because you're just like trying to waste time as it comes down on you.
Dude, if I even tried that, I mess up. I don't know how. Like I tried so hard to do like controlling my car when it's spinning, and I can't do it.
Yeah. So back when I first started thinking about car control in the air, which was actually about Platinum for me. This was kind of the exercise I did a lot. Let me change maps. You want to get a map that actually has like a ring. I think Utopia does. No, it has a small one, but you want the bigger one. Which one? I think Champions Field's good. Yeah. So you see how there's this outer ring. You just want to be like, first start very basic. Just making an adjustment every so often.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually you can get to the point where like you can actually just twist all the way around it.
Yo, stop.
This is just the end goal, right? So, and then you can go the other way. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people actually have a weak side to car control.
Oh, I 100% do.
Right side is my weak side.
Same.
I can do this, but once you start adding the spins, it's not as smooth. Left is my best side.
Yeah, that's mine.
So, yeah. Just start like this because it'll get into your muscle memory how much these little adjustments actually take to make on your stick. So this is one you can kind of like slalom through the boost.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, these were fairly basic when I first started doing this, but it's a nice change of pace. The workshops, the trials are good.
Oh, yeah.
And you don't necessarily need to like freestyle through these. It's a nice little change of pace from like training pack stuff.
Yeah. I got a couple rings maps I like doing.
Yeah.
It's
And
fun.
I mean, when I first started doing these, I was basically not doing flips. I was just trying to do stuff like this. But then eventually, like, here's a good example. This one. So you can still do that, but then eventually you just want to add. Oh, fuck that up. Like individual turns, like here.
Mm-hmm.
Because like doing those will allow you to gather some speed into that.
So do you have air roll left and right bound, or do you just use like one and use air roll?
So I have all three types of air roll on my controller.
Mhm.
I started off on an Xbox Elite controller. I ended up getting a third-party brand, which is cheaper. I forgot what it's called. But so I use paddles. My jump is actually on a paddle. And then I have air roll left and right on paddles as well.
Oh, okay.
And so in these, I never use air roll left or right. I just use the regular one.
Yeah.
The situations in which I do use air roll left and right are going to be basically three scenarios. One, the power shot. I use air roll left and right on those. Coming off the wall, I'll use air roll left and right.
Mm-hmm.
When I was mentioning like when going for that shot that I was talking about, I'll use air roll left and right. And then lastly on the half flip, I'll use air roll left or right. That was such a bad one. My half flip has been terribly off recently. I need to work it
Same. Ever since I went to Epic, that's what I'm gonna say. I messed it up.
out. Yeah.
I swear.
So those are the situations where I use air roll left and right.
Okay. I was just curious.
Yeah. So yeah, that is That's basically it. You could also get Lathimir's rings on the workshop. That's also a good one. Do you have any questions for like, or have any other mechanical things you want me to talk about?
Honestly, I think I'm good. I've got just a plethora of shit to practice over
Yeah.
the weekend now.
Same.
That's good. That's
Same.
good. Well, cool guys.
But
So yeah, I
I
appreciate you.
Yeah.
Like, going over all this and all the
if I could
information.
if I could get those what is it, the training pack codes.
Yeah, I'll post those. I'll start the upload later on tonight. Probably
Alright.
let it go overnight. And I'll put that on y'all's channel
Oh, all right,
when
all
it comes
right.
up.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, thank you.
Yeah.
I really do appreciate this. This was just like way more in depth than I was expecting.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I really enjoy doing this. It's don't ever think like it's a burden on me. I volunteered for this for a reason. I enjoy doing this. And I'll be happy to do a follow up perhaps in a couple weeks. See where you guys are going. Hopefully you guys will be in the playoff run at that point. But even if you're not, we can still go over things to kind of start looking forward to next season, because there's no reason to, stop the progression. Just in sports, like a team could have one bad year and then they can come out of nowhere the next year. So, it's the mentality we need to take. If obviously we're going to try and win our games now and make playoffs and such, but if that doesn't work out, then we can still keep the improvement going. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. Glad you guys took something from it, and I will see you all around. All right.
Cheers,
Thank you
man.
very much.
Alright.
I appreciate it.
Take
Yeah,
care.
thank you again. Have a good night.
You too.